Good afternoon, evening, or morning, depending on where you are, ladies and gentlemen. It's Dan, and I am back with some exciting news. I hope everyone has been enjoying Scarlet and Violet so far, but there is one more draft match to watch from Sword and Shield, and I am bringing it to you today. We have the grand finals of the Pokemon Draft Challenger League, where Panda will be going up against Pedons. They have both had exceptional seasons in the PDCL. Pedons has had a total of 1 loss across 13 regular season games, a play-in match, and then his first 2 playoff games. Panda, on the other hand, has had 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but overall, this has been a phenomenal season for both of these players, and I am very excited to bring you the last match of Sword and Shield in the Pokemon Draft Challenger League. The winner of this match will be guaranteed a spot in the Pokemon Draft Premier League when it starts up next season. We are looking at likely a March start, but without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this match. So we've got battle rules, and I will just skip ahead of battle rules a little bit. And let's take a look at what teams everyone has brought. So we see Lapras, Spectrier, Galvantula, Clefairy, Weezing, and Electivire. The Galvantula is an interesting bring this week, especially considering Rillaboom and the Rotom, but I guess the answers for the Blastoise aren't very compelling on Pedons' part. I do think the Blastoise presents a very difficult matchup for him. And on Panda's side, we do see his big 3 of the Rotom, Rillaboom, and Blastoise, along with a Trick Room option with Togepi and Bronzong. And then the Obstagoon, which I'm very interested to see. I'm not exactly sure how they will be matching up this week, but I am quite excited to see what Panda's brought, because we do see the Grassy Seed Electivire as Rillaboom tech. I do like bringing Grassy Seed against opposing Rillabooms. Colbur Berry Spectrier, I think that's probably for Dark Pulse Blastoise, but it would make sense to help with the Obstagoon and a potential knockoff Rillaboom as well. Colbur Berry makes a lot of sense this matchup. And we do see that the Spectrier and Galvantula lead is going to come out with Electivire in the back. That's going to struggle to deal a lot of damage, especially if the Togepi ends up coming. But again, I guess that's a lot of this team. But I'd be worried about just getting blasted off. And he does lock it in time just before the timeout. But we are going into game number 1. We got Viet Panda versus Pedons, who is as Pedons. They both have quality trainer cards, and this is the last time I'll be rating trainer cards in Sword and Shield. The music is very fitting. And we've got the Obstagoon Rotom lead going out against that Galvantula and the Spectrier. So this does limit the ability for, I'd be really nervous to click something like Electroweb here, because that Obstagoon could very easily have Defiant, and it's going to threaten the Spectrier regardless. A Dark-type move into that slot is very likely coming out, and then this Rotom is also threatening the Galvantula. Just a Max Flare into that slot makes sense. So swapping into the Clefairy to eat the Dark-type move, and then doing his best not to just lose to this Max Flare that could be coming in. I'd say Panda has a very solid matchup lead in this one. But anything can happen in the match, and we do see Clefairy come on out. And Rotom comes back instead of maxing, going for that early flare, and then the Togepi comes out as well. So we've got the NFE Follow Me bots out, and then a Protect. And I imagine this is going to be a knockoff, yes. And we're going to knock off the Eviolite, which is a huge, huge play, because now this Clefairy's bulk is very, very substandard. Friend Guard will still help the Galvantula, but not nearly as much. And here we do see the Discharge directly into the Electivire play coming out. This will give the Electivire the speed boost from its ability. It will become the fastest thing on the field, but Rillaboom will have priority, so it might not completely matter. But we might see some paralysis come out with this Discharge as well, hitting 2 things on the opposing team. Clefairy just goes for the hard switch, and then the Discharge is going to come right on out into this Electivire, and go for some paralysis, because it's not going to deal a lot of damage to either Togepi or Rillaboom, especially if it's especially bulky Togepi, which makes a lot of sense against this team. Follow Me comes out, and then the Discharge comes out. The Motor Drive gets activated. We get a +1 speed on the Electivire. It's now the fastest thing on the field. And do we pick up any paralysis? It is a decent chunk to the Togepi. Ah, it was a crit. That makes a lot of sense. And no paralysis comes out, so it was basically just a speed boost for this Electivire, but now Rillaboom is in the field and looking in a very strong position. It could go for a Max and Max Quake, it could go for a High Horsepower, it could go for a Grassy Glide. There's a lot of things it can do, and then Bug Buzz does threaten it to some extent, but this Togepi will be able to redirect it. A double up into Togepi is probably the play here, but it's really difficult to ignore this Rillaboom, but I don't think either of these Pokemon can kill the Togepi from its current health. Rillaboom could also Swords Dance for free right here, but we do see the Max Lightning coming out, and then the Galvantula is going to spare itself and switch back into that Clefairy that no longer has the Eviolite. Clefairy comes on out. We are going to see the Max. I believe that's a fastball. Very, very classy choice for the Motor Drive Electivire. I might be completely wrong. I don't really know Apple Balls, but it is what it is. And Max Electivire will have the opportunity to overwrite this terrain as well, take away Rillaboom's priority Grassy Glides. And we do see the Togepi going for Protect, so that is going to be very, very minimal damage into that slot, but it will overwrite the terrain. And I imagine that this will be a High Horsepower coming out. Terrain overwrites, and then do we see that High Horsepower? It's a Wood Hammer instead. No grassy terrain means that's not going to do a lot of damage into this Max Electivire with the Friend Guard boost. Neither of these teams is looking to do a lot of damage currently, but that might advantage Panda because he's not in Max doing nothing, whereas Pedons is in Max and just going to be tickling this Togepi. I imagine this Clefairy has Helping Hand and will be going for Helping Hand onto this Electivire, but I don't think it's going to matter because this Togepi is going to redirect that. And it doesn't even have Helping Hand, he's just going for Dazzling Gleam Chip. Togepi is going to redirect this Hailstorm. Maybe not with the switch out, actually. Yep, Togepi does redirect it. This isn't going to do much at all. I'll get a little bit of Dazzling Gleam Chip off. Oh, it picks up the KO. I honestly didn't. I guess that Togepi is built very specially bulky. I didn't think that would pick up the KO at all. Okay, so Pedons is in a much better position than I was giving him credit for here. Dazzling Gleam comes on out, and Rotom takes a little bit of chip. And there's one more turn of Max on this Electivire. This Electivire needs to hit a target hard this last turn of Max. And the Obstagoon will come on out. The Electivire does have a fighting type move. It can just go for a Max Knuckle into this Obstagoon, and it would be very threatening. Panda has run Ally Switch Rotom before, so that needs to be on the radar here. But I do think a Max Knuckle is the play, regardless, unless you're going to try to call a switch into Rillaboom. But even then, I think Ally Switch is more likely than a switch into Rillaboom, so I would go for this Max Knuckle play. It's probably an easy protect from the Obstagoon. He could try and call the Ally Switch with a Max Knuckle into the Rotom. Thinking about clicking Hailstorm, calling the switch. Really waffling back and forth on this decision, but he does lock into the Max Knuckle into that slot. And we are going to see Follow Me come on out to protect from the middle amounts of damage. And he does switch into the Rillaboom, so the Hailstorm would have been a bit better there, but it's such a hard play to make. He could have also gone for a Lightning to reset terrain one more time. I don't disagree with Pedons' play here, though, based on what we know. We do see that this Rotom is going to be maxing. And I imagine it's going to be going for a Flare into the Fairy spot. Without a Violite, this might have the potential to take down this Clefairy. We do see Follow Me come on out. Electivire goes for that Knuckle. Let's see how much it does. I believe it'll do... Yeah, it was slightly less than I thought it would do, but he is definitely in range to pick up this Rillaboom next turn if he survives a turn. And if this Clefairy lives, he'll be in pretty good position, but if Clefairy goes down, yeah, that Clefairy just goes down, and it is not looking good for Pedons in this game 1. He needed that Clefairy to live to redirect one more attack, because now this Electivire might be able to get off an Ice Punch into the Rillaboom after Rillaboom. I mean, Rillaboom could just fake out the Electivire as well. That could just be a double up this next turn. One thing going for Pedons, though, is he does have the speed advantage, but everything, especially in Sun, just looks like it's going to go down to this Rotom. Rotom could pick up 2 more KOs unless he plays his Protect correctly. And then Rillaboom is a very, very solid cleanup option as well. The Electivire gets small, and what will we see here? Ice Punch into Rillaboom is tempting. I mean, it's probably a fake out into something here. It could also Grassy Glide this Electivire and flare the Galvantula. But I would probably fake out and flare the Electivire spot, leave the Galvantula for a turn, and then take it out the next turn. Because he's shown a willingness to click Protect, I do think, yes, this Protect is very, very likely. So if Panda makes that play, he will be in excellent position for this game 1. Galvantula gets its Protect off. Do we see the fake out come into the Electivire slot? Alright, and then do we see the flare for the double up into the Electivire slot? And we do see that double up. This is going to be Panda's game 1. I can almost guarantee it, because we will have this Galvantula and this Spectrier out. But even if this Rillaboom goes down to the Galvantula, the Rotom will be under Sun, pick up the Galvantula this turn, and then it should be able to finish up the Spectrier. But even safer with Togepi in the back, you can just switch that Rillaboom out, go for that Flare into the Galvantula. Did he just click Mud Shot into Rotom? Did I miss something? Going to be a substantial amount of damage. Gastro Acid. Abilities get suppressed, right. Then the Mud Shot comes in up. That is going to be quad effective. Oh, that was so close to picking up the KO. That would have been a huge KO. But the Flare is going to come on out. It's going to pick up this Galvantula. And then it looks like... Focus Sash. Okay. He's still in it. Dead to a Grassy Glide, but we do have Life Orb recoil on the Rotom. But now the Rotom will also be healing from this grassy terrain because it no longer has Levitate. Rillaboom threatens to pick up the Galvantula. Everything threatens to kill this Rotom right now. Yeah, this one's not over yet because of the Focus Sash. Let's see. If I'm in Pedon's position, what I'm thinking about right now, I know both things are threatening the Rotom, and I know that if the Rotom dies, something needs to kill this Rillaboom before something on my team dies. I think that Shadow Ball into the Rillaboom and protect Galvantula is the play most likely to produce a favorable result, but it loses very hard into a Rillaboom switch, and then Rotom just targeting down the Spectrier. Instead, we see a double target, and if there's a Grassy Glide into this, yeah, the Protect on the Galvantula and then a Shadow Ball into the Rillaboom did have the chance to pick up this game for Pedons if this Shadow Ball takes out this Rillaboom from this range, and it doesn't take it out even with a crit. So it wouldn't have. That's probably AV Rillaboom then as well. So yeah. With those sets, that was pretty much hard luck for Panda. I don't necessarily agree with Pedons' decision in the late game there, but either way, it was very much hard luck for Panda, who takes a 1-0 lead. I'm just going to skip a little... No, I won't skip ahead. We'll let this play out. So Pedons is going to have a decision to make here. First decision, he does in fact choose to take the lead card. Very respectful thing to do. Never once did I look at my lead card book of everyone I've played, but I feel like I should do that even though Gen 8 is now basically officially over. Battling again with the same rules. If I am Pedons, what adjustment am I making to make sure that I don't just lose to that Rotom? It's a Life Orb Rotom set. He is picking... What music is he picking? This is a big decision. We've got the Glastrier music coming out. Big decision. And... okay, so if I am Pedons, the thing that really beat me with that Rotom, and my Mudshot didn't quite pick it up, but a Max Quake would, and threatening it with a Weezing just straight into the Max Quake, because you could switch in the Weezing and go for a Max Quake. Maybe a Spectrier lead isn't the worst thing in the world, but it was the Rotom in combination with just the pressure of Togepi's redirection versus Rillaboom's Grassy Glide on that other slot. So the Rotom never felt like the thing that you could target into any turn, but it was the one that was providing the most damage output. But you always feel like you need to target into that Rillaboom or Togepi, because Togepi will redirect it if you don't target into it, and Rillaboom you don't want to let have the Grassy Glide when you know you're going to have speed against the Rotom late. This is tricky. I don't think that Lapras can be the play here. I think Weezing, I think he's onto something with this Weezing in the back. I might lead something like Spectrier or Clefairy, have Weezing in the back. If we see the Rotom, switch the Clefairy into the Weezing, go for the Max Quake into that Rotom slot. And then have Galvantula in the back with the Spectrier, and hopefully you're able to clean it up that way. But he is going to go for a Lapras play. Pedons always makes me nervous because he takes it down to the wire every single game with the team selection. Gets it in with about a second and a half left. And we are into game number 2 of the PDCL Finals. Man, the music from Scarlet and Violet is good, but I don't know if it beats the music from Sword and Shield. This just hits all the right buttons. We see the Obstagoon lead. And this is exactly the lead that I would have loved to see the Spectrier and Clefairy switch the Clefairy into that Weezing. I would have loved to see that here, and I think it would have been effective. But he is just going to threaten a Hydro Pump into that Rotom. But do you really... I guess it is AV Lapras with Frenguard. Avalanche on the Obstagoon. I don't know if I agree with that. It just doesn't feel like enough offensive pressure right now. And we are just going to see the straight Rotom Max play. This feels very much like Pedon's on the back foot already in this game, because I don't know what this Lapras is going to do into this matchup. Because a double up into the Clefairy with a knockoff and overheat would be very good. Although with that Protect, and he went for the Fake Tears. Fake Tears Flare play. Okay. That was a good Protect then. Pedons is back in this match. I thought that it was looking like Panda might steamroll this game, but no, this is not going to be a steamroll. We do have the Avalanche coming out. It just doesn't have a lot of offensive pressure, but we do know now that I guess he was calling a Rillaboom switch there. No, he's clicking Sheer Cold. This is the plan. He knows there's not a lot of offensive pressure here. He's going to try and waste time with Follow Me and see if he can land a cheeky Sheer Cold. Can he get the Sheer Cold on the Togepi? Clefairy uses Follow Me. We're going to see a Flare coming out with the Violet, even though the sun is up. I don't know if this will kill. Probably not. Oh, it does. Oh, Life Orb. Yep, that'll pick up the kill. And I guess that's probably a physically defensive Clefairy. Hacks. Sheer Cold misses. So do you max the Lapras? I think Lapras is the only max option. I guess the Electivire can max, but do you max the Lapras here? Protect the Galvantula, max the Lapras to Hydro Pump and just set Rain and try and play it that way? I guess not. I would max Geyser this turn, try and set Rain, and then if I'm going to play defensively, we got to whittle down that Togepi. Yeah, but protecting the Galvantula is always correct. But without the max Geyser, it's still going to be very much threatened next turn. Flare comes on out. Even through Protect, this is going to do a chunk. Yeah, it's going to take him to Sash through Protect. Alright, Max is over. If there's a world, it's probably going to be the Electivire switch and Discharge play. But even that, I just don't think he's got enough offensive pressure. Because this Galvantula is going to go down this turn. Yes, the Electivire will be at +1, but offensively it's not great. This Togepi is not going to be dead. What are we going to see? If this is a Thunderbolt? Okay, maybe there's a world if this is a Thunderbolt. Because this Galvantula gets another turn alive. Goes to +2 speed. Okay. Galvantula just gets a turn for free. So it will get a second attack off. I don't know if a double up kills the Togepi, and I don't think you can double up into the Togepi based on what he's shown play-wise. But I do actually think you have to switch out the Galvantula here to preserve the 1 HP to try and have something with speed advantage in the late game. You always have to max here, and you couldn't max Quake Gastro Acid the Rotom slot. But I think you have to protect or switch out the Galvantula. You have to max it. You have to... No. No, this is bad. This is bad. Okay. I still think this is bad. Because now an Overheat... Yeah, you're going to have the speed advantage. This might pick up the Togepi, but if this Rotom launches an Overheat into that Electivire slot, and the Togepi still stays up, does it go into Electivire? It does go into Electivire. No! Okay, so now the max options are the 1 HP Galvantula and the Lapras, which is at full health. I will say the Lapras is still at full health, but it's a AV set that's not going to do a lot of damage, and I have a feeling there's Rillaboom in the back. Resonance and just trying to 1v4 is a play that can be made. Okay, let's see if Resonance gets off. I mean, Resonance will get off, but let's see if this Lapras can pull a 1v4. Because if Togepi has Dazzling Gleam, you click it here and guarantee the kill. Because I don't think that they can kill both. Got a double up, wastes a turn of Max. I believe this was targeted into the Togepi. So that will take the Togepi down. Oh no, it's targeted into the Rotom. Never mind. Togepi lives another day. Geyser needs to come out this turn, which looks bad in the face of a Rillaboom switch. But now the Rillaboom doesn't need to come out until after Max is over, unless you can pick up a double KO here. Which means I think Geyser the Rotom, unless you want to call a Rillaboom switch and Lightning the Togepi. I guess you could Resonance the Rotom if you want to call a Rillaboom switch in too. Especially since we know it's physical resonance, and I believe that's AV Rillaboom. It might pick up that KO, but I wouldn't count on it. I like the Lightning play to take to win terrain if you're going to call the switch. But now if Rotom just stays in and clicks Discharge, okay. Okay. Doesn't get the double. Bug Buzz comes on out. Togepi goes down. Is there a path back for Pedons in this game? So the Resonance is going to come on out. It's not going to deal a lot to this Obstagoon. And then Rogue's going to come out, and Rillaboom's going to be the end game. If both things can survive, then yes. So I think Galvantula needs to protect here, because a double up with Rotom and Obstagoon into Galvantula makes some sense. In fact, I think that makes a decent amount of sense. You don't want to go into this Lapras. You don't know that it's AV, so it might be weakness policy. And then you know that this Galvantula is probably gonna. Oh, Choice Scarf. Okay, that's so good. Okay. And now we are in a very, very good position for Panda to become our PDCL champion and guarantee his spot into the PDPL. Because even though this Rotom's going to go down, Rillaboom is going to come on out. Obstagoon is going to be Choice locked into knockoff. So it's going to be able to deal at least a little bit of damage. And more importantly, this Lapras is going to struggle to kill both. Avalanche might be able to pick up the Rillaboom. So if there is a Grassy Glide, you survive. Avalanche picks it up, and you can live 2 knockoffs. So if you then you hit a Hydro Pump, that's the out. So yeah, it's not a great out. You need to be able to live 2 knockoffs and a Grassy Glide. Hit your Avalanche, have that pick up the Rillaboom, which I don't know if it does. And then Hydro Pump, have it connect and pick up the Obstagoon. You could also click Sheer Cold. That is also an option. Especially if you think this Rillaboom is going to go for Wood Hammer instead of Grassy Glide. But it looks like Pedon's season is on the ropes because the Fake Out's going to come out, so now he needs to survive 3 knockoffs, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do that with a Grassy Glide. The other 2 will be weaker than that, but I don't know if it'll matter. Grassy terrain will help. But Panda is just playing so cleanly and is in such a good position. Going for the Sheer Cold play is the only play here. Hope that Panda clicks something like Wood Hammer, and you're faster. He did kick the Wood Hammer, but the Lapras is not faster. And then we have our champion. Congratulations to Panda. Thank you everybody who participated in this great season. I'm looking forward to seeing Panda in the PDPL next season, and although Pedons falls just short of automatic qualifications, Pedons had a remarkable season with only 2 losses across 16 matches, I believe, of really high-level competition, so that's something that I will be keeping in mind as well as we are determining wildcard slots into the PDPL as well. So thank you guys so much again for watching. If you enjoyed this content, don't be afraid to like, comment, and subscribe. Love the shot of Articuno to wrap out my Sword and Shield coverage, and we will see you guys for the next draft season in Scarlet and Violet. I'll see you next time. Bye.